contradiction, reports and counter reports on the incidents of Bengbe Road in Bamenda on the 8th of December 2021. That's the neighborhood in Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon, where persons were killed, houses burnt, and enormous material damage. A report from the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa contradicts the reports of the Cameroonian Ministry of Defense on what exactly happened to civilians caught in the unfortunate and the widely demonstrated reports on social media, and of course widely condemned incidents. We shall be taking a look on the reports released in Africa, and of course we shall be talking about that with our guest tonight. We shall also be telling you that some persons have been received at the emergency unit in a hospital in Buea in the southwest region of Cameroon after an explosion at the trade fair ground in the heart of the town of Buea. Details of these stories and more will be yours in this edition of the news. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. Thanks for getting connected on the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television. We live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city, Equinoxe Central News Desk. We begin with one of our top stories, of course, which is that of contradiction and counter reports on the incident in Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon. But before that, let's take you to the southwest region, where several persons have been received at the emergency unit of a hospital in Buea, chief town of the region. They were severely wounded following an explosion at the trade fair ground. That is the trade fair ground, a popular annual event in the town of Buea yesterday, Sunday the 12th of December 2021 at about midnight. Reports say the explosion sent a wave of panic across the events ground in Buea, leaving traders and visitors in a state of total confusion. Apart from the injuries, we learned that a considerable material damage was also recorded in the course of the unfortunate incident. It remains uncertain what exactly the nature of the explosion was, who planted it, why and how it was planted in a public event with a visible security presence. Several persons are currently being attended to by security, or rather health officials, in hospitals in the town of Buea, as you can see on your screens. Persons wounded during an explosion yesterday in Buea. We shall be coming back to this report with our correspondents on the ground. But time for us to tell you of the contradictions already coming up after the unfortunate incident in Bamenda. Our technician says we talk about the road accident. The road accident recorded a few hours ago along the National Road number 3, linking the cities of Yaoundé and the economic capital city of Douala. Reports say some 2 vehicles have gone in flames along the National Road number 3. That's on the stretch around Puma, or rather Bumiebe, which is closer to the borders between the littoral and the central region of Cameroon. Sources on the ground say the trailers, the 2 vehicles, were coming from the Yaoundé end of the National Road number 3 when they collided, clashed, and went in flames. However, no human casualty was recorded in the course of the incident. It was an unfortunate incident that created panic and also pains across the northwest regional chieftain Bamenda. It was on the 8th of this month of December 2021. The incident that saw several houses, as you see on your screens, they're burnt, and enormous material damage recorded at Bengbe Road, one of the neighborhoods of the northwest regional chieftain Bamenda. And of course, a few Days after the unfortunate incident, contradictions, reports and counter-reports are already coming out. It should be recovered. Shortly after the incident, there was a report from the Cameroonian Ministry of Defense. The report from the Cameroonian Ministry of Defense that stated what exactly happened. And of course, we take you back to some of the highlighted facts on the report. The reports from the Ministry of Defense indicated that on the afternoon of December the 8th, at about 3 p.m., a convoy of the 3rd Rapid Intervention Battalion, the Bill, on a reconnaissance mission on the Bengui-Bamenda axis in the northwest region was a target of a terrorist ambush in the Nitop neighborhood of Bamenda 2 subdivision, Mezam. With the use of a wire-controlled improvised explosive device, the insurgent immobilized the convoy of the defense and security forces before opening fire on the latter. The assailants were forced to retreat only after an extremely violent confrontation. The preliminary reports of the attack established the following. The military indicates that on its side, one of its tactical vehicles got damaged, and on the side of the enemy, some 4 separatists were neutralized, and several components used in manufacturing the improvised explosive device were also seized. And of course, informed about the situation, local military officials immediately deployed back up to the scene in order to secure the area. Following the incident, secessionist propaganda supported by some media organs has spread rumors about the torching of houses belonging to civilians in the locality of Nitop. And of course, the military says these are nothing but false information as spread on social media. The ministry went further to say that it was in the course of the intervention of the military that a house is serving as a hideout for the terrorists was actually discovered to be a warehouse for components used in making improvised explosive devices. In the course of the gun exchange, the chambers full of explosives got ignited, causing a shockwave on the few houses nearby. That was the reports of the Cameroonian Ministry of Defense by then. And another report, this time around coming from the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa, contradicts the declarations of the Ministry of Defense. The Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa, in its report, which we shall be analyzing in the second part of this information, indicates that according to eyewitnesses, testimonies and videos, as well as satellite images, they can confirm that the incident in Bamenda was a deliberate action of the state forces. Time for us to talk conflict, this time around in the far north region of Cameroon between Arab Shuas and Muslims. The pain is still very visible in the area where several persons got killed and houses burnt as the two communities clashed. Immaculate Fogwe takes us to that part of Cameroon.
The remnants of the violence orchestrated by locals of the Muslim and Arab Shua communities in Logon and Sharit Division, Far North region, are still very visible. The recent killings and burning of houses has worsened the already tense atmosphere. The population are blaming administrative authorities for giving a deaf ear to the conflict which started months back.
Il est inconcevable que nos élus,
our elites, ministers, senators, sultans and other administrators gave little importance to this conflict when it started, reason why it has degenerated to an armed conflict. I am really disappointed with all of them.
Et je continue à toujours dire que c'est décevant.
The recent clashes left 48 persons wounded, and they are currently being attended to by health officials of the Kuseri General Hospital. The once vibrant city of Kuseri, which used to serve as a trading hub, is now unrecognizable following the closure of shops. We are unable to even get bread because all stores are closed. Activities are stagnant here in Kuseri. This conflict began like a joke. Now it has degenerated to an armed conflict. To stop this conflict, the government needs to call both parties and dialogue with them.
En réalité, nous devons nous tous prendre acte de cette histoire pour que ça ne se reproduise.
Consultations are ongoing to find lasting solutions to the conflict. It's not easy. How can two brothers fight this way? I am part of the caravan and we are putting in lots of effort so the crisis can come to an end. The most essential thing both camps need to understand is that we are all equal in front of God. The governor of the Far North region, Mijiawa Bakari, has visited 1,638 displaced persons living in Waza. Meanwhile, close to 58,000 people are now seeking refuge in neighboring Chad.
In the 21st century, Cameroon still has deplorable structures playing host to students and learners in several parts of its regions. And in Kupe, a village in Tombe subdivision of the Kupe Manenguba in the southwest region of Cameroon, it is an over 10 years old makeshift community hall that has been transformed into a nursery school, as Innocent as it tells us in the following report.
Beautiful, handsome and bright-looking kids, leaders of tomorrow, assimilating knowledge.
Dog! The dog is starting with this sound.
In an old, worn-out makeshift structure, being a community hall of the Kupe village in Tombel, Kupe Manenguba division of the southwest region. Surrounding of this over 10 years old structure alone is bushy, unhealthy and risky for these kids. Disturbed with what they see, a group of youths in the village who call themselves the Brotherhood Keepers brought resources together to erect a 2-classroom modern structure.
This structure is not what we actually dreamed. As a brotherhood, we expected something better than this. With a well-fenced security system, we expected to construct a modern toilet for the level, for that age group of the kids that will be attending lessons here, taking lessons here. We also intended to build a playground, a modern playground, what we see in towns like Boya, like Limbe, like Douala. We have ended at this level. We expect the state or other development associations, NGOs and organizations to come in.
Director of the nursery school is, however, delighted receiving this new structure.
These 2 classes have come to me as a dream, and I'm really happy with the structure, but there are many things that are still lacking. We need a playground, a fence, we need water. No desks, no tables, nothing. There are no equipment inside there. The classroom have been given empty classrooms. So we need an office. There is no kitchen. What befits a nursery school? We need to have a small place where when they are sleeping, we keep them there.
On the part of the divisional officer of Tombel, such a move by the Brotherhood Keepers should be emulated by other youths in Tombel.
The initiative in our subdivision is highly welcome, and we see this opportunity to say that other youths should emulate that and make sure that they work as the Brothers Keepers are doing. Yes, there are things that are supposed to be done. You know, the nursery school has to be fenced, and then they have to bring in water, they have to bring in electricity. So those are things that we expect others to come in and assist.
At the moment, the kids are still acquiring knowledge in the obsolete makeshift community hall, while hoping to move into the newly constructed structure once equipped and secured.
Good. We sit on a desk. Okay. You have to.
In line with the necessity to provide basic amenities to local inhabitants, especially the grassroots population, Municipal officials of Ndu in the Donga Mountain of the northwest region of Cameroon say that they are determined to take on the needs of their people throughout the year 2022. They were speaking during a budgetary session over the weekend in Ndu, as Charles Abane Ekome tells us in the following report.
As the gateway and economic capital of the Donga Mountain division, maintaining security and consolidating peace in Ndu subdivision remains the major preoccupation to administrative and municipal officials of the division. To achieve this and more in 2022, the Ndu Council, during a budgetary session on Saturday, December 11th, 2021 at the Ndu Council chambers, voted a budget of 900 million francs CFA.
Provision of basic amenities, promotion of literacy through the rehabilitation and equipping of the Ndu Municipal Library, provision of quality council services and access to civil state.
Sounding satisfied with the execution of the 2021 budget, the Mayor Abdou Kanfon Bono enumerated a good number of achievements, which includes water supply, road construction, solar street lighting, and the construction of a befitting council building, presently at 60% execution.
Better be elaborated by the annual investment plan in your possession.
He then promised that in 2022, the policy of action speaking louder than words will still be the motto of the new team. The senior divisional officer for Donga Mountain, Dr. Quentin Simon Doe, in his words said, Ndu would have been miles developed were it not for the current socio-political crisis that has hampered development strives in the municipality for 5 years running. He said security should be stepped up in functional schools and socio-cultural activities be encouraged to hasten the return to normalcy that the municipality has witnessed with the coming of the present team led by Mayor Abdou Kanfon Bono. Observers say effective economic takeoff in Ndu and the Donga Mountain division will only be possible with the tiring of the Ndu, Taba, Magba and Fumban road, which has now become the only possible way into the division.
Coming up is talking points, still with us. On Talking Points today, we're receiving Song Derrick. He's a civil society actor. Song Derrick, thanks for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much for me, Armstrong, for inviting me. Big thanks to the management of Equinoxe for the job they are doing to make sure that the world is informed about what is happening around Cameroon. With you, I shall be focusing on the controversies and contradictions already surrounding the very unfortunate incidents of December the 8th in Bamenda, precisely at Mbengu Road in Bamenda. In its report on the 10th of this very month of December, the head of the communications division of the Cameroonian Ministry of Defense, Colonel Research Atomfak, indicated that it was in the course of gun exchanges between the military and separatists that some items used in fabricating improvised explosive devices got ignited, and fire touched some nearby houses. That was how he placed it. But a report coming from the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa is talking about something different. You had the opportunity to read through the two. Did you find out some differences?
Yeah, I did so well, Armstrong. You know, any movie that is too long begins being very boring, because you start realizing that there are a lot of concocted lies that are told to the world. But you understand that truth is like oil. No matter how you mix it with water, it will always stay on top. We read the communique, and the government defense spokesperson, yes, Atomfak Cyril, said due to exchange of fire, there was an explosion from the one of the houses that happens to be hosting
a warehouse.
Yes, a warehouse for separatist fighters. While Center for Human Rights has put it clearly that it was a deliberate action, because the houses that are burned are interspaced, and satellite images have revealed a military car stationed right there, and it was a retaliation. You know, we have a system. You know, when the Ngarbu incident happened, the government stated clearly that it was an explosion of illicit fuel. And finally, when the truth came out, satellite images came out. I remember that time, it was Fontem Allegra. She was called some kind of names because she spoke the truth. And Human Rights Watch. And when the truth was found out, the government promised to exhume the corpses and give a proper burial. Today we are still waiting, and that the perpetrators have been brought to book.
Are you saying that we're going to have the same Garbu scenario? This you comparing that it's possible that the Mbengwi Road incident turns out to be like Garbu?
This one will even be worse than Garbu, because according to what government has said, it's not voluntary. But what is painful, Armstrong, is the fact that we are using human lives like guinea pigs. We are using human lives as if we are doing an experiment in the laboratory. People are dying while others are lying on their death. It's painful that tens of families will be mourning because they are homeless, and then people are telling lies on their homelessness. It's so painful that your brother's house is burnt and the government is there. The spokesperson is telling us that nothing of that sort happened. It was an accident, or like the Ngarbu case, they said it was collateral damage. That kids were killed, and then you tell me collateral damage. It's so sad for me to accept that.
On the Ngarbu incident, there was also a very a big difference that was noted, that of numbers in terms of the human casualty. And of course, here we've not had that actually stated, be it from the communique of the defense and security forces in Cameroon. But what is certain is that the civilians paid the very heavy price on the Mbengwi Road incident. And
that's the saddest part of everything that is happening, that there is a fight between two elephants and the grass is really paying the price. You know, those who have questioned this war with a lot of fact have been seen as traitors. The Human Rights Watch said it clearly that they have eyewitness testimony, they have videos, satellite images, and they can conclude without mincing words that it was a deliberate attempt. We are told that some persons were burnt in their houses, and it's painful to think that every other day people are dying. What is sad here is that we are full of condemnation, because after condemnation, what we are going to do is to wait for the next act to be condemned. We condemned the Ngarbu, we condemned the Kumba killing, we condemned the Boya, the Bamenda, and everything we have been condemning. But every other day after condemnation, we still sit and wait for another act to be condemned. So we are full of words. There's a lot of grammar blowing, English speaking, but no action. But the sad news is people are dying and some people are playing experiment. I think that there is somebody somewhere, there is a third party somewhere enjoying the goodies of this war. There is somebody hiding somewhere who feels like if this war ends, their riches will end.
But when the human rights group says that it was a deliberate act, as in going further to say that the military acted in retaliation, and we are understanding that those who suffered or the impacts was felt by the civilians, is that, in other words, saying that the military deliberately turned against the civilians after the unfortunate incident they suffered?
If that is the case, according to what he said, it is sad to know that the military, defined to be professional, will turn to attack and burn down civilians' houses without seeing the perpetrators of the act.
All right, now we fast forward. I had a guest here some few days ago who said that the areas touched, people should actually accept what is happening to them, because in most of these areas they've been hiding separatist fighters, and of course the military comes to areas where they know that the local people are working in collaboration with separatist fighters.
You should be talking about, am I permitted to call name? Should be Padia Sanga.
Of course, it was on
yes,
a popular platform.
I followed that program keenly that day, and I sitting in my room, I cried. I cried because he made a statement that if the Amber Boys attack someone and has to run into a house, why will you not bomb it? You know, I listened with a lot of pain to understand that someone who says houses should be burned. What if a house there was his own house? Will he be happy? What if it was the house of his family member or his own proper house that he has spent his money looking for money in Germany to come and build in Cameroon, and it is burnt down? The bottom line here is this: what we are facing is
maybe he was probably trying to draw the responsibility of the civilian population,
yes,
local population, and the role they can effectively play in this crisis.
The truth, if I have to be truthful to you, is that what we are facing are consequences. We are facing the effect. You know, the refusal of the existence of a known problem is an indirect or a direct invitation of unknown problems.
Yes.
So what is happening now is we are fighting unknown problems. The real problem we have is the Anglophone crisis. The kidnapping, burning down of houses is a problem we do not know. And that problem only came in as a result of the refusal of a known problem, which is the Anglophone problem, the Anglophone question. The fact that the Anglophones have been abandoned, marginalized, and they are treated like second-class citizens, and they have become homeless in their own homeland.
And Derek, why will the security officials deny to tell people the truth? Why would they be hiding the truth and turning it around?
Because the lives of people doesn't matter. If our lives really mattered, if the life, you know, it is, you will be so quick that something will happen in America when George Floyd was killed and Africans, Cameroonians condemned that Black Lives Matter in America. While back in Cameroon, our neighbors' lives don't matter.
We had an unfortunate incident in Buea yesterday with an explosion at the Trade Fair village.
Yeah, it was a very, very sad one for me, I must say it. And to the Amber Boys, it is sad. When this crisis began, you could be heard people calling our boys. Now they are calling those boys. You should question yourself what has gone wrong. You cannot be fighting to protect people and at the same time you are killing them.
Thank you very much, Song Derek. You are a civil society actor based in Douala. We are very grateful. We hope to have you again. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your keen attention. We urge you to stay in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe. We shall take you to Yaoundé and back to Douala with Serge Alain Otto. It will be Equinoxe 1.